Well, hello everybody, Helen Russian here with the report on the earnings after the Lyft so-called improvement in pay structure, meaning they said they're gonna promise us, sorry, I can't speak today. They said they're gonna pay us for the time to get to the pickup, when in reality they actually cut the rates. They added a little bit of money per minute, 3 cents, but then they cut 13 cents a mile, no, 17, not 13, 17 cents per mile, and then they also cut the pickup fare by 2/3. So here is the result, and I'm not going to keep you in suspense. Yeah, overall, it's a pay cut at about 25%, roughly, depending on when and how you drive. So I drove last week for 4 days, probably about 3.5 hours each day. And so I have a good feel of what's going on in here. So generally speaking, if you're driving midweek in the areas that nothing is highlighted, meaning it's your average night, nothing is, nowadays Lyft highlights it in yellow, used to be in pink. So no, it's not even a surge, but it's a slightly higher fare. So no surge, your average fare. Honestly, realistically, to be around the strip, not profitable. All you end up is with this $3.97 rides, $3.97. That's all you get on this new pay scale. It's a good thing when people tip, like in my case, some of these, I don't know if you see it, $3.97s, they tipped $5. So yeah, it made it worse, but as we all know, tips are not guaranteed. It doesn't matter how nice, funny, witty, accommodating you are. Sometimes people just don't tip, and they tell you they love you, they love the conversation, they give you 5 stars, and they just don't tip. So you can't really count on that. However, just like I thought, all of a sudden, shared rides became actually quite a good thing, because now the pickup fare that used to be $1.25 and they cut down to 45 cents, now for each additional pickup during the shared ride you get another 45 cents. So if you had 3 different rides during that shared ride, well, you're back to where you were with $1.25, and then overall it ends up being more or less profitable. So to give you an example, not this Sunday, not holiday weekend, but Saturday actually before that, so 2 weeks ago, week and a half ago, I went to a ladies' function, and the lady who was hosting it, she lives way out North Las Vegas. I mean, I honestly only been that far, probably once or twice. She lives way beyond Aliante. So from my house to get to her with absolutely no traffic, using freeway most of the time, it took me 40 minutes. So anyhow, but it was lovely function. I did want to go, and it was nice Saturday, meaning I knew there going to be no traffic. So on the way back, I thought, well, I have time. I'm in no hurry, so let me go online. And sure enough, 5 minutes, even less than that, I get a request, and it's a shared ride, and I pick up the lady, and then immediately someone else is added. And to be honest with you, at that stage, I kind of wish someone else would be added, but no, there were only 2 of them, and the second rider was only going short distance. But the lady, she was about halfway point between North Las Vegas and Green Valley, where I live. So overall, the ride ended up being on the app $17 and some cents. And one of them gave me $2 in tips, so I don't know which one, it was on the app. So I got $19 and some change just by extending my trip home. So that was good. That I can't really say anything about that. But overall, those of you who are experienced drivers, they know how it is. There is nothing we can do about this. This is just situation. So you just need to be smarter about how you drive. You need to be strategic. Because when I went driving during the weekend, which was Friday and Saturday, the rides were slightly more. Now, still, there were $3.97 rides, but there were $4 and $5 rides around the strip. Same thing, because it was surging a little bit in there. But still, the better rides were the further down rides in the city, and shared would be the better option these days. But yeah, you still get a lot of 397s. I'm looking, yeah, Saturday. I'm looking at Saturday, and yeah, quite a few. So you're really hoping for those tips, but like I said, it's not guaranteed. Now, for those of you who are just starting or thinking about doing rideshare, here is very practical advice as far as what you need to take into consideration before you decide whether or not it's even worth your time, especially if you're thinking about doing it part-time in your spare time. It is not a bad gig for a spare time, but these days, after they cut rates so much, you really need to be strategic. You need to know your way around. You need to get, ultimately, to compress it. When you're doing rideshare, your goal is to get there as fast as possible, which sometimes in Las Vegas means going the longer way, meaning mileage-wise, it'll be longer. It seems like more miles, but in reality, time-wise, it'll be faster because you're either avoiding the traffic on the strip, or you know of a construction that goes on someplace or whatnot. But ultimately, faster is better, and if you can do it faster but with more miles is even better, because obviously we get paid more for miles than we get for time, right? But one more thing that I wanted to add, again, as a consideration, do consider your expenses, what all goes into it, and what expenses the rideshare can actually cause. So I'm driving a pretty new car. The car is not even 2 years old. It's 2016 Kia, but I bought it at the very end of 2017, brand new from the dealership. So technically speaking, yeah, it's not even 2 years old, and it had no miles on it like any car, well, you know, whatever, 12 miles like any brand new car would, and it's a really good car. But I maintain it regularly. I take it for service, and in April I took it to the dealership for 30,000 mile service, and that was $700 because I needed new front brakes, and that in part is caused by rideshare because obviously I'm driving the car more. And then regular air filter change, that probably is not the rideshare thing. Even if I drove it regularly in Las Vegas, it's really dusty. That would probably be the deal. But so 700 at the end of April, and the guy told me, the mechanic said, your battery was low, I topped it up, and I know he did, but here's the thing. So here in August, I was doing rideshare, and I got a piece of metal into my tire on Maryland when Maryland was still under construction, and I had the hole was too big to repair. I had to get a new tire, and I got it at Costco, so it cost me $165 installed, which if I went someplace else, it'll be about $200, so about $40 more, depending whether or not you have a Costco membership as far as that goes. But that tire would have lasted another year easily. That was caused specifically by rideshare because the route taken me to that, I was avoiding Maryland during construction at all costs. There was no reason for me to be there personally. I had no business there, and I was doing just fine never going there. But these people, the passengers, were going someplace where there was no way to avoid that construction. I had to go to get to where they were going, and sure enough, I got that piece of metal. So boom, unexpected expense caused by rideshare, and because I only do it part-time, that week, whatever driving I did, that was payment for gas and that tire. That was it, meaning I had no profit whatsoever. Then, not even a week later, my battery died, and it died really unexpectedly. Like, I guess it's a new cars, new batteries, because back in the day, the battery, before it dies, it would cough. You know what I mean when I say cough? You try to start the car, and it kind of coughs before it starts, so you know it's time to change the battery, and I'm really good about it. I would have changed it. Mind, I do know in Vegas we have to change battery pretty much about once a year or so, and this battery was almost 2 years, but mechanic told me he topped it up end of April, which is why I was feeling all secure. Well, guess what? And thankfully it happened after I got home, meaning I drove the car just fine. I came home, I parked in the garage, and when I went to go out again to start the car, it literally just died. I mean, there was no even any kind of sound, and I'm very lucky. My landlord is a good friend, and he doesn't live far, and he came and gave me a jump, which was a challenge. It wasn't charging at all, like it wasn't jumping really quickly. And I have AutoZone literally on the other side of the wall of my complex. So I went and got a new battery, and that was $155 for that battery. So it's still months of August we're in. So 160 for the tire, 155 for the new battery, and then it was time for the oil change. And when I was changing the battery, I realized my brake light is out. So overall, it was actually, AutoZone thing wasn't particularly great experience. I'll make a different video about that because it's worth mentioning. But bottom line of it is, I took the car to the dealership for the oil change just because I wanted them to check a few things out, and so yeah, I had to replace that brake light. So that was another $64, and that's not counting the gas that I have to fill every 3 days when I'm doing the ride share, because right now it's hot and we're running the AC, and so all these expenses. In my particular case, it's okay because I am doing the ride share right now in order to get a $250 bonus from Bank of the West. Had nothing to do with, Bank of the West is not connected to rideshare, it just has to do with direct deposit. But bottom line of it is, I'm still gonna be ahead because of that bonus, but otherwise the months of August would pretty much be almost a wash. I mean, the profit would be like, you know, about that much. Not even dinner for two in any kind of decent restaurant. So there you go. Things you need to consider if you're thinking about doing rideshare, because overall, obviously, we all do it for money. We want to make money at the end of the day. And unless you either prepare, that's another thing. You have to be prepared for all these unexpected expenses. You have to have money. Because imagine you didn't, and you were counting on that rideshare, and boom, you need a new tire, or boom, your battery is dead without warning. Right. So there you go. Hopefully this helps. So just like I predicted, which we all knew, it's not just me, everybody said the same thing when they looked at the new rates. Lyft tried to cover up the rate cut by presenting it like it's something wonderful that we've been asking for, and they now paying us, you know, for the time and distance to get to the pickup, which in Las Vegas, I can tell you, overall it ends up being negligible. It ends up being less than $1 every single time that I looked. So there you go. Hopefully this helps, and hopefully everyone had a fantastic holiday weekend. Stay safe out there, everybody. Bye.